Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 49 of Workers and Resources. Oh no, sorry, this is Cities Skylines 2, isn't it? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to be working with the brand new Eastern European content creator pack to build up a brand new Eastern European Soviet-inspired republic over here on this currently untouched part of the map. And I thought there's no better place to build kind of a Soviet republic than in the shadow of some horrendous, dirty factory, right? We have our oil refinery over here, so I think a Soviet town to house the workers that work in these plants is going to be a pretty cool addition to this part of the map. So in terms of where we are over right on the edge of Whiskey, all the way over here, across the bridge that goes over the Forth. I think we're referring to these bodies of water as, aren't we? Now currently we have this junction which is a little bit boring on Prospect Street. I guess you could say it doesn't hold much prospect. And then this national road goes down into the factory. So I think what we will do is have our big Soviet city hall lining up directly with this road, and then we can build out lots of kind of flats and lots of Soviet infrastructure to do this. I imagine this build is going to make me want to play Workers and Resources, which is a tremendous game, by the way. If you haven't played Workers and Resources, I would highly suggest it. So we're going to bring this one down here. Now, in terms of terrain, it's pretty gnarly here. I'm happy to have the rise. I do want to play with the terrain. I don't want to terraform it too much, but I am going to terraform this initial straight, just because I want it to join these contour lines over here. And it joins them about there, doesn't it? So I basically just want to fill in this ditch that's over here. Not so it's totally perfect, but just so it's a bit friendlier. Something like that's what I'm after. So let's grab our road. Now, we might make this a 4-lane at some point. We'll see how traffic performs. We'll send this all the way up here. And I guess let's just go up to there. We've got some random farms out here that don't need to be here anymore. But it would be cool. I guess if you're kind of looking across, I am actually looking at Pripyat in Ukraine for inspiration today. Obviously, a very overgrown town these days for very obvious reasons, but still, nonetheless, provides a lot of inspiration. Including Gamma Travel, by the way. You offer tours into the abandoned nuclear town these days, which I thought was quite interesting. Yes, so we'll have this here. And I want quite a geometric design, really. So let's go in to find it. Let's grab our first European asset, or Eastern European asset, I should say. Let's come into service buildings, and I want my Eastern European pack on. Let's open up our thing here. So this is a really beautiful pack. There's tons of different clinics, buildings. I think it's probably the most kind of asset heavy pack there's been so far. It's really cool. I'm loving how this is working. We've also got this massive disease control building, which I feel would look really good up against the Bedford Highway here, right? We might have to do that today. I guess we'll see. So the City Hall is the asset I want to frame here. And of course, this is going to be found within your City Hall menu. You'll find it here with your French and modern architecture ones. But that immediately is already what I know I wanted to happen here. That big, important kind of Soviet infrastructure building right at the end there. I am a huge fan of the Bored and Bankrupt channel. If anyone's, I'm assuming there must be some fans of Bored and Bankrupt on our channel as well. So yeah, I can maybe feel an Eastern European build coming on one day. Or we just need to start playing Workers and Resources. Because it is a very good game if you haven't played it. It's a very intimidating city builder, but extremely rewarding with the amount of production chains and things you have to manage in that game. So let's bring this road up here and begin to connect in our old networks. So I think with this road, this national highway, we're going to feed this out of the main junction too. Possibly, I think, just as regular road for a little bit, because we will have some buildings around here, I imagine. Let's just trim you back a touch more. And then this one can go out here. We'll send something down there at some point. And then we'll have a little junction that just peels off. And then it can become that kind of national highway that takes people up to the factory. Again, kind of looking at Pripyat and how it's positioned against the kind of Chernobyl nuclear plant. It's definitely kind of outside of the town, and obviously there'll be kind of classic Soviet buses that ferry people back into there. So that's kind of something I want to bring into this build as well today, you know. We'll see if we can build a bit of a bus hub as well, using some of the Soviet assets around it. So I'd like this to be quite a geometric kind of town centre here, I think, today. And I would like some big kind of park space at the front of this building. So let's go for, let's do 104 meters either side. I'll do the same over here again as well. 104 is that one there. And then let's do a 40 curve. And then we'll send this back into that road. And then we can develop this park space here. So let's do 40 here. Send that down. We also have some residential demands today as well. So we can begin to zone in some of those zonings. We'll do plopping and zoning today. We'll kind of see how the Eastern European pack behaves with zoning, because they're not all perfect. There's a little bit of height discrepancy there, isn't there? Let's just make everyone the same height here. Super. I would also like some, I think, trees and grass on this road here too. Let's get trees on that way, and I think we'll have grass lining on the inside of this area. So yeah, just kind of referring back to what I was talking about earlier with Bored and Bankrupt. Just from watching so much of that channel, I know that Soviets tend to put a lot of importance and kind of gravitas around their municipal infrastructure, like city halls, cinemas, kind of halls of culture and whatnot. So I want to try bring that in here today too. But that's gorgeous, right? Love that up there. Of course, in terms of what this is actually going to do, we're going to get loan interest and import costs, but I find the buffs relatively meaningless in CS2, to be fair. So we also have the Eastern European train station, which is a real nice building. Probably one of the better train stations in the game again, to be fair. We do have a train line here, but it's very much industrial, but we could bring that in a little bit later. I think for the time being, let's move into a bit of a road network time-lapse here so we can begin to place some other buildings. And then we'll see what we think on the end of that. So here is our current configured road frame for our Soviet town centre, which I guess we do need to name this, don't we? And I think I do have quite a good name for it, actually. Draw our town here, and this is going to become the town of Egginburgh. I think it's pretty appropriate for Egginburgh, isn't it? So over here, let's have a look at our zonings. So this pack brings so many different ones. There's low density housing, medium density, mixed use, low rent, and high density housing. I'm definitely interested in these kind of Soviet tower blocks. Very kind of distinctive, aren't they? There's also low density business, which is nice. However, no industry and no office zone. But still plenty of asset variation regardless. So let's see how they zone up. Let's do our high density housing first. I guess I'd like this. And I think I want them pretty close to the center. Let's try some different too. Let's just do like one big 6 deep block there and see what happens to that. Then over here we'll try some more refined zonings. How about a simple 4x4? We'll do some deeper and narrower ones, although they don't seem to grow super deep anyway, do they? But that's fine. We'll see how they behave. Let's also grab some low rent too, maybe toward this side. We'll see how the low rent housing performs. I'd also like some parks at the front of the city hall as well. Let's do I feel like Hedge Park would be a good choice for this one. Yeah, if you guys would ever fancy some workers and resources content on the channel, I am not the greatest at the game, and there's a lot of systems I do not understand. But if you would be interested in seeing perhaps a series on it, I think it is something I'd like to explore at some point. It's a very good game. I really would suggest it. Big learning curve though, so go into it kind of expecting that, I think. So how about we have something in the middle here? I feel like some of these little mini pocket parks might do quite nicely. How about something like that? It's not quite exactly where I wanted it, but I think we just grab it all with move it a little bit, we'll slide over, and then we can just reposition those pathways there to be how we want them. Bring them down the sides, and then why don't we have one in the middle, somewhere about there, and then we can connect it and hope we have this as a bit of a fun walker's paradise. So let's get some more service buildings in here. Let's come back to find it. So we've got elementary schools. We don't need a ton of education in the city at the minute, but we do have a modernist post office. I'd like to have this perhaps in and around our town centre. Let's get this across from the city hall. Again, isn't that just gorgeous? They're all very Soviet, very kind of brutalist, aren't they? Although I suppose this one's not super brutalist. This one's actually quite pretty. But I would love to do some travelling around Eastern Europe. I guess the furthest east I've been was Finland last year. And there is our high-density Soviet apartments. Isn't that wonderful? Really cool. For once, the crane is appropriate, rather than the building low-density homes. So we're going to get some different colours on these. Smaller one around the back here too. But otherwise, I think they fuse together pretty nicely. There are windows on the sides. But again, another tremendous job from this supremely talented pool of CS creators, right? Bring an alleyway behind here. How deep have they grown? Yeah, so they're only, what, 2 blocks deep? Really not that deep at all, is it? And then let's get some of the other stuff growing here. Why don't we try some medium density just around the edge here? Again, let's just see how it tends to grow. So really it wants to go no more than 4 deep, doesn't it? And yeah, whenever you zone that in, it always goes to 3, 4, sometimes even 2. So I think definitely the more shallow of the zone-ins is more appropriate here. I think what we will do in that case then is actually trim back the zone in here. And then we can design some perhaps Soviet playgrounds behind these tower blocks for all the Soviet children to enjoy. Let's have more service buildings in here. Let's see what else we have to play with. The hospital is a chungus, isn't it? Look at this. This is a big old building, and it looks like it's going to almost sit and fit perfectly there if it wasn't for those roads. Let's keep searching there. We've got our post office. I love this as part of the town centre here, right? Let's have this maybe just off of the main road here. Let's have a look at this one. Of course, it's a post office. It's obviously going to contribute to your post economy. Oh, look at that. Look at those decals. See, this is what CS needs, right? Just a bit of dirt and grime. A bit of aging. It's, you know, if we were to take a vanilla asset, let's take, over here. There should be some over here, right? This grey one, right? So, see how it's just so clean? There's no kind of runoff marks or stains or anything like that. A lot of people down here as well. You guys alright? Are you all homeless, hanging out by the bins? No. No, you're alright. Yeah. You're wealthy, apparently. But maybe he's made his fortune by hanging out by the bins, right? But not to get distracted. See what I mean? Just with that. Oh, I like seeing those high rises appear in the distance there. That's very cool, isn't it? We've also got a cargo train passing by here as well, which on its own should be a vibe, right? Heading into the big factory down there that employs this town. Very cool. Here's our medium density stuff, which I really like. How nice are these? These are really, really nice. Super, super cool buildings. That brick texture. Isn't that cool? The shutters. Really sweet. I really like these buildings. These packs alone, you know, like before we even get, you know, what you would consider proper custom assets, like these make Eastern European builds pretty viable with CS2 now. I'm going to do another row of that. I very much enjoyed it. Let's do another row of medium density here. We'll let that grow in. And let's return to our big service center up over here. We've got some more towers over this way. Yeah, to be honest, it's not too dissimilar from the UK tower blocks, are they? But I suppose that's maybe a commentary on the UK more than anything, isn't it? Anyway, let's not get political. Let's trim back some roads, because I did want to add in that hospital. Yeah, Eastern European hospital here. Big building, absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. Reminds me of the police academy from Cities 1 Campus DLC, actually. Very similar. That is the best hospital in the game, no question. That's really nice. Absolutely fantastic. Great detailing on it. Love all the little walkways and alleyways and cut-throughs and whatnot. This is really similar to what we did, you know, with our German build over here. I think there's so much to be had for having kind of walkable space in between buildings as much as actually building the building itself. And you can see people passing through the middle there. Just notice some trees in here as well. So get rid of those while we're here. But, you know, see people walking around on the interior, the courtyard of a building, I think makes the space significantly more believable, doesn't it? But I really like that. Stunning asset, really cool. So the town has a hospital, a city hall, a post office. What else was it we placed? Wait, that was the other post office? Yeah, that's the modernist post office, okay. Fire station, of course, is absolutely crucial. So let's filter via fire stations. So we got a few of them, 3 of them, holy smokes. We have a firehouse, small fire station, and a regular fire station. I would love this one. But we have you there. So how are the other ones going to compare to this, I wonder? Should we put them down? A normal firehouse, and then we've got a significantly larger firehouse over here. We're not going to have 3, of course. That is super colourful. That reminds me kind of very much of Russia, that one actually. Those kinds of colours, very bright. Thinking back to kind of, is it St. Basil's in Moscow? I think it is, isn't it? This one's really cool as well. Would also repurpose itself as a very good lighthouse. I'm sure we'll see that at some point as well. But a very nice building. Then a much more discreet one over here. Again, which is very, very nice indeed. I want to go with this one. Kind of small and brown is the order of the day here. Don't want anything to be too luxurious in this part of the city. Let's bring a road up through there, and then I wouldn't mind doing some finer zonings here now. Do we want to try a bit of mixed use? We don't have a ton of commercial demand, but it'll grow anyway. Yeah, and then I think I just like the occasional tower block around here now, and then maybe some more custom space. Let's get some more parks in the middle. Lots of statues today as well. Statues of old Soviet leaders are definitely very common in the Eastern European part of the world. Again, I'm basing a lot of my European knowledge off of Bored and Bankrupt here. So, blame him if any of it is wrong. Some pathways between, now let's try some smaller towers like that then. See how they're growing. Fantastic. Really liking how this main square is developing here. Definitely want more service assets around it though. So we have our city hall. The college again is just a gorgeous building. Elementary school would fit here. How are we doing for education at the minute? College isn't bad. I'll tell you what, while we're talking about college, there is actually a college in the city I want to delete. We'll go do that in a second. So we have our elementary school here. I certainly want it facing into the main plaza over here though. How do we feel about that? Yeah, it's not bad. It wants an alleyway though, because there are missing road connections off of it. So if we were to go from here, let's turn Anarchy on as well. That is pretty much what I want. Super. It does not come with any upgrades, but that's okay. Cool. I like that then. Yeah, let's go delete that college. So I do want to do an episode on urban promenades, which we've yet to really discuss. In this area of downtown Bourbon, which I don't really like anymore, and this college will be a casualty of that build. So I'm just going to delete it now so we can take it out of our education economy. And just so we know how much college demand we actually have. So we've got our hospitals, we don't have police over here. We do have our police headquarters. Now are these kind of civilian police or secret state police, I wonder? Should we go for secret state police? I think I will. Because we have the KGB, we've got the Egg GB. We've got a secret state police over here. Doesn't come with any upgrades, but that's fine. To the hospital? No upgrades on them. You have one for the fire station, an extra garage. Let's go ahead and throw that on anyway. Oh, look at these little mixed-use buildings. Isn't that gorgeous? They're so, look at that corner building. Historical, yes please. I feel like they've added a lot of grit and grime in this pack. These buildings are gorgeous. Really nice, aren't they? So realistic. I love that rise up the hill there as well. Though their front door is perhaps not the most accessible. That's fine though, that's fine. A lot of these high density towers aren't too dissimilar over here, are they? That's okay though. Should we try some more mixed use in here? I wonder. We'll see. I'm liking this so far. Let's return back to our major service buildings. I don't think we're going to put the train station in here. Despite the fact I think the central... Oh, then again, do we want a train station? Let's have a look at the smaller one. We've got this one and this one. I guess I'll show them off regardless of whether or not we're going to use them. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous asset, and a much more small, discreet one here as well. With stairs, yes please. That is really, really nice. This one's gorgeous as well. They're all great. They're all cool. Yeah, but I just don't think I have the configuration here for a train station. Again, I could put it in behind the city hall. Would that be incredibly offensive? No, it's sat on the road there, but we can always trim these ones back. Delete this small one as well. I feel like I would be forcing it in. In terms of passenger lines, we could just run the train, because the train line's over here. It goes off over to Scotchdale, this isn't it? Yeah, it is Scotchdale. So many towns in Egginburgh now. But we could quite easily feed a passenger train to it from Whiskey. You can see them moving around here. We could send a train over here. Okay. I think I'm going to do it. I think I want to include the Soviet train station. I keep saying Soviet when it is actually marketed as an Eastern European pack. I hope I'm not causing too much, if any, offence there by saying that. But if I am, I'm sure they'll be in the comments below to let me know. So let's send the train lines here, and I can already see I'm going to want more high density kind of towers here looking back onto the train line. Should be very cool. And then I'm not averse to just a simple rail crossing here, I don't think. So coming out of this junction, let's send this just straight into the national line like so. And then let's just send that into there. And then this one over here should be a pretty simple connection. Have that go there. And then a guideline and a curve should see everyone home. Super. Would send it over here and bring it back in with the train lines over this way. Where does the line merge into a single line over here? It's down here, isn't it? Well, I did want to include that other asset over here. So let's get that in now, and then we'll know just how much room we have to play with for bringing that rail line back to a potential intercity connection. So I'm going to dig out a bit of the hill. I know I said no terraforming, but surprise. We are terraforming. There we go. Yeah, so it's the disease control center. Absolute behemoth of an asset. Possibly the biggest asset in the game now. I think it's a possibility. So I just want that no anarchy on lined up against that highway there, I think. For some reason I'm just envisioning it like so. And look at this for an asset. So what is it actually doing for the city? It's a disease control building based on one of the biggest buildings in Moscow. There we go, made in brutalist architecture style. In real life, this building contains the Oncology Research Center. Very cool. 25% disease and minus 25% health effects from pollution. Oh god, it's asset, nice big parkland around it, multiple helicopters. Just stunning, and it is super brutalist, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. It's even got the, I'm assuming it's Russian writing if it's a building from Moscow, right? I unfortunately cannot distinguish between the Soviet languages. I understand they're quite different as well. For example, Ukrainian is very different from Russian. Again, my bored and bankrupt viewing experience. But either way, let's make this bit a road here. Because I think it makes sense for people to be able to stop there, doesn't it? So we'll have that there, and then let's take our road up against the side of the building. And then just basically give it a full wrap around. Bit of anarchy needed there by the looks of it. And then let's also upgrade that little bit there too. And then I'd just like this to be kind of factored into the town. And almost kind of a bit of like, you know, the people here are working at these huge institutes. I think there's something very impressive about a train passing by this building, isn't there? We'll see if we can wait for another one. There's plenty of cargo trains on this line. This is the view I've been waiting for since I first seen this pack. Very exciting. Isn't that cool? Very sweet. I really like that. Cool. So let's get this hooked into the town frame so it gets its utilities. And then I think we'll have a look at some of the buses back into the various different kind of workers' institutes that we have in this part of the map now. So let's hook that one down into there, and then you can just go straight up that way. Be happy with that. We can develop this space into something. How are our new tile blocks doing here? But those smaller ones are much less dramatic, aren't they? They really are. That's okay, they've got some mixed use in here too. Ordinator. Is that a new business? I feel like I've not seen that one before. I know some still waiting to fill up here, but that's okay. I really like these mixed use buildings, especially this one. Very nice. Regardless, buses are the next order of the day, and then the trains as well, of course. So let's do bus. I would have loved a Soviet bus station. I think that would have been very cool. So let's have this part of the town centre. And then we'll have bus stops. Let's grab our European bus shelters. So we'll have some... I guess there's no need for them here, is there? Really, I'm using this as a shuttle back into to the big institutes that are over here. So we'll have one on the way down to the disease control center. We'll have one directly outside that as well. And then we'll also have one in the oil refinery. Where do we want to send our workers? There's a roundabout here they can turn around on. So let's have them arrive at the chemical plant. That seems appropriately Soviet, doesn't it? So let's grab our workers here. Well, sorry, our bus. Our first stop will come in there. And then, of course, just head down to these major institutes. I'm not sure if they get too much use. Of course, this isn't workers and resources, so they might not. But aesthetically, it's going to be cool regardless. Send that in there. And then this can come back in there too. Let's go ahead and check the bus line out. It'll be this one, won't it? So we'll call it the Egginburgh commuter shuttle. Of course, it's Soviet. It has to be red. Perfect. Cool. So we'll see just how busy that gets as it becomes to come over. It should be traveling for quite far away, actually. There isn't a bus depot anywhere near here, is there? I have little to no idea where the nearest bus depot is. It's over in the port, isn't it? Are they coming out of here? That's taxis. Is the bus depot over here? Yes, it's here, isn't it? It's here. Yeah, this one still has some vehicle capacity. I imagine they're coming from there then, aren't they? Suppose we could add a new bus depot, but if we've still got capacity in the other ones, there's probably not a whole lot of point to it. But that's okay. Yes, and then trains as well. Let's grab ourselves the train line. We'll already have the stops here. We could... I guess we can also accept intercity trains here as well, can't we? Because we do have the 2 platforms. We might do that. Yeah, so let's grab our passenger rail, and you are going to run... I'll tell you what, actually. This is the... Where are you going? You go to Scotchdale, don't you? So that's the Inverness Whiskey and Scotchdale line. I wonder if I want to actually divert this train as it comes back out of Scotchdale to stop at Egginburgh. Do we have any spare platforms in Whiskey? We do. There's cargo trains moving through this area right here. They're not passenger lines. Train configuration is getting ever more complicated in Egginburgh these days as the city grows so much larger. I'm just going to do a little train back and 2 here to Whiskey. And I kind of like that, you know, you have to get the train back and 2 to Egginburgh because it's just kind of so far out as like a workers' town, purposely built for those industrial spaces over there. So how big is that disease control centre? Bloody massive, isn't it? Very possibly my favourite building in the game now, actually. I really like that. So we've got that one, and then let's also grab the secondary line here. Let's bring this out of the station. Let's do a bit of terraforming there. I'll try and satiate the train police at least a little bit. Let's bring this one straight up. And then with this new platform that we're connecting here, this will be an outside connection. The workers from abroad can head to Amasa and then back to Egginburgh. Super. So we could also, which is what the original point of placing the disease control centre was, have another train line coming out here, which I'm not sure how exactly I want to hook that in because the train passing through this area is just industrial trains. There you go, there's our passenger train. I want to have a look at train line 6 here. I'm going to make it Soviet red. There it goes. Yeah, so I don't think I want passenger trains coming through the industrial plant. I feel like that's just not particularly realistic. So I think we'll probably not send them out that way. I think if we are going to carry on the train line, it can kind of go cross country. We could make a new outside connection, actually. Could tunnel it into a mountain, send it off that way. I think we'll do that, because I don't really like the way the lines just end like that at a central station. I feel like they want to carry on going out either way. Although the terrain here absolutely will trigger the gradient police. So let's just create a bit of a gully for those lines to run out of town. They can go all the way over there. Now let's just re-soften those harsher slopes back out. Superb. So that allows us to have the central train station in here. And then we can build many more apartment blocks around this. And anyone waiting at the Soviet bus station? No, they're not. Would you like to come and wait at the Soviet bus station? Who are you? Raymond Wasales, not the most Soviet name. But he does work at the Modernist Post Office. Where do you live, Raymond? Where do you live? Where's this? Oh, you're over here. You're not too far away. Okay. Oh, he's just got a short commute across the bridge then. But I'm really liking how that's looking right there, right? But either way, let's move into a detail in time-lapse. Lots of little spaces to fill here. We'll do some plopping as well and see what we can do with these mixed uses. More tower blocks in various different patterns. Again, I'm going to be looking quite a lot at Pripyat for kind of tower block layout and inspiration. And then little bits of details and a lot of fun and design and happiness as we continue to design our workers' town of Egginburgh. Otherwise, let's do some detailing, and then we'll be right back. guys, let's have a look over the town of Egginburgh, shall we? Our Soviet-inspired industrial town. It has a cargo train that heads out into the wilderness, which is very cool. Either way, approaching the town from the main bridge. Some texture work around the base of the little valley kind of dig out here where the train goes through down to the factory. Moved this little highway access road to this side of the bridge. It didn't really make sense to have two bridges here when there's already one, so I just connected it this side instead. And you can see people can use this as a cut through to get down to what is a Soviet mosaic in this universe at least. Again, I know from my time watching Bored and Bankrupt that Soviet mosaics are everywhere and very, very precious indeed. was we can catch a cargo train passing by a new development of very Soviet apartments here. Very nice indeed. Heads off down, of course, to the factory as well. Around here, just a simple road cutting through this huge space with cul-de-sacs and car parking around them, intervened with the pathway. That just allows lots of open green space to breathe around these tower blocks. There is plenty of kind of just open green area around these kind of Soviet apartments too. More toward the city centre, we've also added in the police station on the corner. There's a little apartment kind of block over here with playgrounds all focused around a football pitch, which is very nice. Dropped in a multi-story next door to our big hospital here. Our Soviet bus station is very quiet. There are some people coming through here. But there is also a stop outside of the train station now as well. Of course, which would have made a lot more sense. Let's do that. So that is getting some use, with people using that to commute around Egginburgh. There are intercity train connections down both ends of this line. Now you can see the train heading over there. So plenty of people starting to pick up the train station, which is very nice. And a bit of bush lining, nice central fountain design here with the city hall. Really like this viewpoint. It's super cool, that, isn't it? I really like how that turned out. Over this side, we have the welfare office next to a couple of sports halls, a bit more social housing, with a community pool, and lots more fun to be had with the medium density blocks, which these are all zoned in, by the way, if you're wondering how the European asset pack zones in. It's very nice. It's very faithful, isn't it? And you're going to get whole blocks pretty consistently here with the zoning. So it's just a very small gap in between them, but you're going to notice that if you're right down at the street level beyond that, it is a pretty zonable district style. Like kind of looking out across our Soviet roofs there is a really cool viewpoint, isn't it? I really like how that turned out. Across the other side of the square, we've played with some more kind of traditional European shapes, moving away from the grid with much more angular roads. Soviet fountains with Soviet benches and bins. A hot dog stand, maybe you can grab some kind of Krav Magash here. Is that what it is in The Simpsons, I think? Krav Magash, something like that. Or is it crab juice, I think? I think that's what it is in The Simpsons, isn't it? Crab juice. Yes, and then just kind of fuse together different blocks here on different corners. This also continues over this way. Tested out some more with the mixed use, which is starting to fill up with businesses now. There's car parking chucked in, a little bit of the medium density housing, kind of different shapes, playing with gardens here and seeing what they would be like kind of fused together. And there's an elementary school over here as well, which is a really nice one, quite discreet, this one, isn't it? Very small too. And then we're splitting in some green space as we emerge back into more mixed use blocks over here. And then there's more kind of plaza work over this way. This kind of whole little square and arena here is really, really nice. I love this spot of the city now. It's, yeah, I think it's pretty faithful, I think. So, our kind of points of inspiration here. I'll take a screenshot of that, actually. Yeah, over here where we had our big towers, I didn't really like how, and it was a one big solid wall, so I took a tower out to bring in some on-road car parking, with parks behind those as well, but it kind of spills back into the older town. And a really unique space to work with. There's some more cut and fill feature stuff over here where the terrain layer shifted quite harshly. I wanted to use this space. And then that brings us back to kind of the main, I guess, mosaic roundabout, right? And that looks straight down here. And so overall, the town of Egginburgh is looking really sweet. I really like how it's turned out. It's a very unique little part of the map. And then I have made an executive decision to move the disease control center. I felt like it would have made much more sense kind of being part of the refinery here, being alongside the rail yards and stuff. Because it really kind of looks like a kind of, you know, old Soviet government control building for the state-owned oil refinery here. Yeah, this is something to absolutely see in like the old Soviet Union. Or something here like this, so definitely kind of factoring in the disease control center as the government's administration of this state-owned resource, which I think is a pretty cool way to use it, and I really like it. This is definitely one of my favourite buildings in the game now. Designed just some simple entrances that expanded what we already had over here. And then we also had the rail yard nearby as well, which looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? I really like that. Oh, it all came together. helicopters are extremely loud and they are leaving all the time. So yeah, really cool. Love how this integrated into the already existing ore refinery. And it leaves us with a very, very unique little town indeed. But otherwise, I will shut up and leave it there. Massive shout out to the patrons that help support these videos with a roll call to our golden eggs, Louis Adlam, Andrew Perez, Oh Hey Casino, Phoenix MD, and Wolfo. We're going to get involved in that. Links down to our instant gaming giveaway and referral link alongside Patreon are the best ways to support the channel if you so wish. There's only 3 more of these packs left now. We have China in a couple of weeks, and then the 2 American packs after that. At which point I think we'll probably look to start a new city when all of these creator packs have released. I think with all these new assets at our fingertips from the start, there is a very kind of promising project to be had, I think, in Cities Skylines 2 now. But if you've enjoyed the look of the Eastern European pack, let me know what you think of it. It's probably up there with the best alongside the UK. I'd probably say this one just shaves it. There's a ton of really nice assets in this pack, and it's all for free. Amazing. Just these packs have helped redeem Cities 2 a lot in my eyes. The asset variation here is incredible. I thoroughly enjoy the game much more these days with these region packs here. Either way, please do enjoy some cinematics of Egginburgh, but I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.